Welcome to Money and Freedom, the podcast about becoming financially free and building wealth for generations using stock market investing. Welcome to Money and Freedom with Vejle Grünbaum. In this episode, I have a really special guest for you. I will call him the hedge fund maker, and I will explain to you why I call him that. He's a special coach. Let's dive in. Now, welcome to Jack Skeen. Jack Skeen became famous. He's a coach, and he became famous because he was the coach of Mohnish Pabrai and Guy Spear, two value investors who became famous themselves because they won the auction that gave them the right to have lunch with Warren Buffett. They both wrote 2 books, and they have been quite public about having made a kind of blueprint for Mohnish Pabrai. It really changed his life. At the time before the blueprint, he was running his own IT business. The coach who made the blueprint, and he's here live with me today, he told him, "You're in the wrong business, sir. You should be running a hedge fund." That's how I understood it. Jack Skeen has been approached by a lot of people who are curious to hear if they could also be the possible material of a hedge fund manager. I myself did it. So welcome to Jack Skeen. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well, thank you.
What is this blueprint that you can make for people?
I think Mohnish called it an owner's manual, like you'd have for your car. But it's evolved into, I call it a roadmap, because the goal is, well, the idea behind it is that everybody's got some unique gift or constellation of gifts that makes you equipped to do one thing really well in the world. And if you just knew what that was and aligned with it, you'd really be satisfied in what you're doing and probably more successful. So the goal is to help people discover what that is. And Mohnish was actually the first person that I did this with, and it worked unbelievably well.
And he's been quite public about it, so I guess that makes it possible for you to speak about it as well. What was it that you saw where you said, well, Mohnish, you shouldn't be the CEO of your IT business. You should be doing something else.
Well, I think he was pretty successful running his IT business, but he hated it. Like, he just hated going to work. And one of the things I discovered as I got to know him was that he's just not a natural manager. Like, he doesn't really want to manage people or deal with day-to-day issues. And he really wasn't an executive. He didn't really like to plan strategy and to set a course or direction for his company. He really loved playing games, like card games. He loved games that had a strategy and games that he could play like by himself, like not on a team. So kind of an individual contributor who liked playing games, liked taking risks, and liked playing games where if he studied the game, he could develop an edge. So we talked about, what kind of things you can do if those are the things you love to do. And we talked about investing. And we talked about investing a certain way. And you might notice that Mohnish, didn't move to Wall Street, and he didn't hire 100 people. He kind of does life his way. He works when he wants to work, and he studies the game, and he acts when it's time to act, and he doesn't act when it's not time to act. He's built a life that just suits him so well, and because of that, he's good at it.
How do you actually do it? Like, what's the process of doing it?
Well, I kind of have a few phases. The first phase is I use 2 psychological assessments that are very, very sophisticated and really help me understand how a person's personality is hardwired. Are they a natural risk taker, or are they risk averse? I mean, it's so helpful to know that. Are they really full of self-confidence, or do they lack self-confidence? Are they natural in a leadership role, or do they really like working with or serving somebody else? I mean, that kind of information is very helpful. And then I asked to speak to 6 people who've been attracted to you in your life because they saw something special in you. And that's really important to get the right 6 people. Like, you think about a life partner or a business partner or a coach or a mentor or a best friend, somebody who's chosen you because they saw something magical in you. And I want to speak to those people because I want to see you through their eyes. So I develop kind of longitudinal view of what's unique about you that all of those people saw that was in common. And then the gift that I've been given is to understand people in a very deep and profound way. For me, it's like a jigsaw puzzle where all the pieces are turned over, and one by one I turn them over and I fit them together, and suddenly I see the picture and I go, I know Byla now. I know what's unique about her. I know what's special about her. I know where she would fit in the world. And then I teach you how to see that for yourself. And we talk about practically how you might migrate what you do from where you are now to doing that. There are a bunch of different variables. A couple of them are like social introversion. Is a person like very, very unique as far as their social interactions are concerned? They don't really care what other people think of them. So there's a scale for that. There's a scale for whether I'm kind of on the shy side or whether I'm comfortable getting a lot of attention. There's a scale for depression. Do I come to life with kind of a gloomy view where I'm concerned about what's wrong rather than what's right? There's a scale around, am I really good at identifying the people in the room who are the movers and shakers and developing a relationship with them? So, I think there are 13 different scales that all measure aspects of functioning that I just find fascinating. I'll tell people, it isn't about changing you. You're really perfect just as you are. It's about understanding you and accepting yourself. That's the key to really finding where you work best in life. One of the scales measures aggressive behavior, and it's really like, the people who are high on that scale are fierce competitors. And so that can be such an asset. You'd want somebody like that and put them in an environment where they're pitted against other people, because that aggressiveness will be stimulated and push them to work hard. So it's just about matching your unique personality with the opportunity. It's like, how old was Warren Buffett when he became an investor?
I believe he was 11 the first time he bought stocks.
11 years old. And he must have really found a lot of joy in that. He goes, I like this, and I'm good at this. And so he found that by accident quite early in life and just stuck with it all these years. He stuck with it for 80 years because he found the thing he loved to do. And he lives kind of a modest life because the satisfaction he gets is from the doing of the thing, not from what he makes from it.
And your point here is that you could help, if he hadn't found it by age 11 and he came to you and he wanted this, I called it blueprint, you called it roadmap, you could help him find that he would be good at investing.
Yeah, you think about what's unique about that man. One, he's terribly insightful about finding companies that have value. He's really, really good at discerning that, right? Not everybody's that good at discerning that. But he's incredibly patient, too. Like, he doesn't mind. He'll hold companies forever. And not everybody has that much patience, right? Or the ability to just relax into things, not cash them out, but to just let the value grow. So it's his unique personality that has allowed him to be so good at what he does. It's a great case study in somebody who's discovered what that is for themselves.
How has it affected your life that you did this roadmap for Mohnish Pabrai and Guy Spear? Has it affected your life, and how?
Well, my job really is I coach executives. I work for companies and coach their executive teams. I help them build cultures. And so Mohnish was really a business guy, and they asked me to do an offsite for them, and we went through this process. And I didn't really think much about it. And then all of a sudden, I started getting calls from all over the world, people that followed Mohnish. I got calls from India and Europe and South America, and people that follow him and said, hey, you did this for him. Can you do it for me? And so suddenly that became something I felt, well, I guess I have a responsibility to now develop this as something I would do on a regular basis. So I probably do 25 roadmaps a year. So I don't work with a lot of people. And I also like to screen people because, somebody could follow Mohnish and want to take this roadmap to be like Mohnish. And I warn people, this will not make you like anybody. It'll help you discover who you are. It won't change you into somebody. So You got to be committed to being your unique self.
And I guess that a lot of people come to you because they want to figure out, should I also manage a fund? Is that correct?
Well, it is interesting because I guess the people that follow Mohnish follow him primarily because he's an investor. And that means they probably have an interest in investing. Now, they could have an interest because they're naturally gifted at it, or they could have an interest because they believe it's a fast way to get rich, or they want to be, successful at something. But I do think, yes, a lot of people do believe that they have some gifts around investing, and that's why they connect with me. Although I've had other people from other fields call me about roadmaps too.
And can you tell us which traits should you have, which personality traits, what makes a good investor or hedge fund manager?
One is the ability to discern value. It's not an easy thing to discern value. And some people have it and some people don't. I don't, but you do. So do people have the personality to really look at things objectively, to analyze them without their emotions taking over? One of the things the assessments report on is, how do I make decisions? Do I make them intellectually based on facts, or do I make decisions emotionally based on how I feel? Did I buy the red car because the red car was the best deal and it happened to be red? Or did I buy the red car because I just love the color red and I don't know if it's a good deal or not, but I have a red car? Well, the people that make decisions emotionally don't usually make the best investors. And yet it does help to have a sense of intuition, to be able to trust your internal instincts, because the data doesn't say everything. So you need a blend of this ability to make rational decisions plus a fairly strong intuition. So you're not just informed by rational information, but also you have some intuition that helps you make decisions. Another one is confidence, self-confidence. Do I have the ability to believe in my own judgments and to act on them? And so people who are high in that tend to be better investors than people who lack that. The ability to be on your own, to function in your own space, not to have to cue off of somebody else, to cut your own path. That's also an important attribute to being a successful fund manager. So those are some of the things.
One of the things that surprised me in your evaluation of me was my weak point was my relationship with people. That's how I remember it. I remember you told me you're really good at, you have developed a framework for investing. You have this checklist for investing. Now you should make the same for people. You should have some kind of system so you don't just let everybody into your life. And that was my weak point, that I didn't discern enough. And this is a really, really interesting point, and it's something that Mohnish Pabrai talks about as well. I believe both him and Charlie Munger are very selective with people. So I believe Mohnish has said that he will enter a room, 99% of the people are not interesting to him. He's just interested in the best 1%. Can you talk a little bit about how do you actually make that screener? Maybe, I don't know if Mohnish Pabrai has like a natural radar to figure out the best 1% of 100 people, or should you have a system? Okay, how do you do that? How do you pick the best people in your life?
Do you think it matters to you that everybody likes you?
I don't mind that people don't like me, to be honest.
Right. You don't mind that people don't like you. You don't work that hard to make everybody like you, do you? Do you know most people do? They're willing to work so hard to become what other people want them to be in order to be liked. But not everybody's like that. You're not like that, and Mohnish is not like that. So it's really very liberating to be in the place where I want to be who I am more than I want to be liked. I mean, I want to be liked, but I'm not willing to try to become what other people want me to be in order to get liked. So If you're not willing to play that game, you're going to stand out. You're going to offend people because people are used to people playing that game. So then you've got to be discerning about people who are also strong enough in being who they are that they enjoy you being you. They don't want you to be somebody for them. They want you to be you. They want to get to know your uniqueness. They want to value the way you are, not change you, not make you what they want you to be. Just enjoy you for who you are. So the discernment is really trying to weed out the people who just want you to be somebody for them versus the people who really are strong enough in themselves that they could enjoy getting to know you and your uniqueness. Do you like that idea?
I really like that idea. The question is just, how do you see that in real life? How do you detect that?
I imagine you start with, who are the people who are interesting to you? I bet you when you meet a lot of people, they aren't that interesting to you. Most people probably aren't that interesting to you.
Also true. It doesn't make me sound very nice, but it is true.
Yeah, so then you just don't spend much time with those people. You look for people who are interesting. Then when you find people who are interesting, you've got to discern why they're interesting to you, because, you could be drawn to people because of some things that aren't that healthy for you. Like you may have some needs that they meet that probably aren't that good. You should be taking care of for yourself. But you ought to find somebody who is unique too, and that you're interested in their uniqueness. Like you want to know what they're like, and they're interested in telling you without trying to make you anything. It's not easy to find people to relate to effectively when you really embrace your unique self. But it's really satisfying when you do.
When investing, you talked a little bit about it. You shouldn't make decisions with your emotion if you want to be a good investor. But let's talk a little bit about this. There are a lot of people out there investing, and I think all people should be investing. Maybe not picking companies themselves, but somehow being invested, taking care of the future. And a lot of people get really caught up in the emotional side of investing. As a coach, do you have any tricks to how to avoid getting caught up in fear of missing out, greed, or the fear of losing when the market crashes?
Those are the biggest problems investors have, aren't they?
Really?
So I really think that comes down to one, confidence in myself, that I know what I'm doing, developing a track record that I believe in so I can look backward and say, I've been doing this a long time and I've been doing it well. So now the market's going against me, but that's okay because I know I've been to this party before. I know how this party ends. And so I'm okay waiting it out. And then not being overly influenced by what other people are doing. Like this, it's really putting on blinders and being in your own world and confident of the world you see and believing that it works and knowing what your gifts are and knowing who you are and just holding your course. I think you just need a lot of support in doing that. It's not surprising to me that like Warren Buffett had one best friend, right? Charlie Munger. And they worked together, the two of them, for a long, long time. I'm sure they supported each other in being bold and being patient and holding their course no matter what was happening. Having a friend like that would be a very valuable thing.
Would you say, could everybody become stock pickers if they really learn to control their emotions and putting on blinders?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think some people have a hard time putting together a grocery list. It's like the need to attend to things, to see the big picture, and also analyze the micro aspects is just too much for many people.
And how would someone know if you're standing there and you're thinking, should I let somebody else invest for me, or should I invest myself, or should I do? How do you know if you have the capabilities to invest on your own?
Probably take $1,000 and try investing on your own. And if you have $0 left, quit trying.
Okay. That's a great test. The concept of testing, putting your toe in the water, trying it first. A lot of people never get to invest because they're too nervous about it. And then I say, well, try with the same amount you would purchase if you would go out and purchase a new pair of pants or a nice dress for a party or new speakers if you're a man. Well, take that amount. You would have let the money disappear into, the latest gadget or dress anyway. So take that amount and then invest it and see how it feels. And I guess one thing is that the money goes to zero. That's a really tough test. But also just noticing, how do you actually feel when you're investing? How emotionally caught up do you get? Could be another way to do it.
Well, you reminded me of something. I think you like investing because you like the art of investing. It's interesting to you.
It's really interesting. It's like a game of chess, in a way.
Yeah, and so you naturally like it, and you might make money doing it. But it's really different if other people see it as, I want to make money, and so I'm going to play the game of investing. I don't really love the game of investing. I don't even understand the game of investing, but I think it's a way to make money. So I'm just going to try to play that game because I think it's an easier way to make money. I just think that's a bad idea. The people who you ought to invest with are the people who love the game of investing. I'd rather invest in you than try to invest myself because I think you love the game of investing. And I don't. I love other things. I love talking to people.
That is also a really great point, that, sometimes you want to spend your time on other things than investing if you don't enjoy it. That's a really, really great point you made right there. Another thing I was reminded of that you told me once was there are 3 ways of living. You told me, well, there are 3 ways of living. You can either believe that everyone is against you, everything is against you, and then you always have to fight for things. You can believe that nothing is against you, but it's on you to make it happen. Or you can believe that, I think you said the universe is with you, something like that. Can you talk to me a bit about the 3 ways of living and how it affects people?
The first way of living is life is happening to me. I develop an attitude that, I can't win this game. It's stacked against me. I don't like my job. I can't change my job. I can never get ahead. I can never have enough money. I can never do this. I can never do that. Life becomes full of feeling like a victim and complaining. It's like being lost in the jungle, and all you do is sit on a stump and cry. You don't know what to do. You just sit on a stump and cry. You're helpless and hopeless. The second way of living life is happening by me. Well, and by me means, okay, I don't like my circumstances, but I believe in myself. If I'm committed and I work hard, I can get where I want to go. No matter how hard it is, I'm going to do it. So now I'm lost in the jungle, but I have a machete. So I'm just going to pick a direction. I'm going to hack my way. I don't know if I'm going to get where I'm going, but I'm going to try. I'm going to die trying. I'm not going to sit on a stump and cry. I'm going to work, and I'm probably angry, and I'm probably frustrated and impatient because this is really a hard way to live, but still it feels like I'm doing something. And the third way of living is life is happening through me. So this is like the hawk that you see in the top of the tree. And it looks like it's asleep, but it's not asleep. It's just waiting. It's waiting for a mouse or a snake or something to come out of the woods. It's not going to go in the woods and hunt for it. You're just going to wait. And then when the mouse comes out of the woods, it opens its wings and swoops down, and there's lunch. So now I'm lost in the jungle, and I have a machete, and I see that person sitting on the stump, and I'm not going to do that. And I see that person with a machete, and I'm not going to do that. So I climb a tree, and I see a river over 50 yards away. So I walk through the jungle over to the river, I get on a log, and I float down the river. Because I believe life is full of opportunities, and rather than creating them, I just need to watch for when they occur and then align with them with the least amount of effort possible. I think those are the people that create the most success, when you learn to do your craft that way. I'm not making something happen. I'm watching for something that's going to happen. And I think the best investors are investors who have that, who know how to live that way. It's more than just a way of working, it's a way of living. It's an attitude toward life.
How do you, if you are stuck on one of the other levels, how do you jump to that level? It sounds like a completely wonderful way of living. Yeah. Are there any tricks to getting there?
Well, that's what coaching's all about. It's a process to get people there. It's a change in mentality. It's challenging people's assumptions and getting them to see a bigger picture.
So no quick trick, but talking and being coached?
Well, you think about, you and I have known each other for quite some time. And, every time we talk, I try to give you like a thought that you haven't had, or an insight that you haven't seen, or a perspective that you haven't gotten to yet. And, you're great at, when you see it, you incorporate it. And it's doing that changes a person, because we all get stuck in the thoughts that are in our heads. We think the thoughts in our heads are the world, but they're not the world. They're just the thoughts in our heads. And if somebody can introduce new thoughts, it can make our world bigger. And the bigger our world is, the better we operate. So we need to be challenged like that, to think bigger thoughts, to see life differently, to see ourselves differently.
And this is the perfect segue for us to talk about how can people reach you if they want to know more about how you can coach them.
Well, my website is easy, jackskeen.com, so JACKSKEEN.com. My email address is the letter J, Skeen, SKEEN, @skeengroup.net.
Thanks a lot, Jack. This is the end of our podcast. If you enjoyed it, like, follow, subscribe, review it, of course, on your favorite platform. And if you have any questions for me, you can find me on Twitter, now called X. My handle is my first name, @BEILE, or LinkedIn with the same handle, @BEILE. Thanks a lot for listening. Please remember, what we share on Money and Freedom is for education and entertainment only. The opinions you hear from me or my guests are not investment advice. Always do your own research or speak to a professional before making any decisions.